Okay, so let's connect this to the code. We know we have a life cycle. How does that work within our code? All right, let's go back to Eclipse. And let's look at our sample controller that I gave you, my drone controller. You can see that in my drone controller, it inherits from drone controller skeleton. And drone controller skeleton is right there if you want to look at it. There are two methods here. One is called getNextDroneName, and that gives you the ability to change the name of your drone that's shown in the visualization. You also have the ability to get your company name, and this gives you the ability to change your team name that gets shown on the scoreboard at the bottom. Here you can see I'm overriding my parent class's drone idling method, and this in here is what I'm going to do when I have a drone that's idling. So what am I going to do when a drone is idling? Well, first thing I'm going to do is good programming is to call your superclass first and let your superclass take care of any business that it needs to take care of. And then what I do is I'm keeping track this in this strategy. What I'm doing is I have an instance variable that's keeping track of all the places. And if that is null, or if there are no places that are present there, then I ask the simulator to give me all of the places that are present in the simulator world. And I store that in a variable. I store that in my places variable here. And then I figure out where my drone currently is. So when I'm in the idling stage, if I want to know where the drone is, I call drone.getDestination because I'm already there and I'm idling. So that's where I am. I remove the current place where I am from the list of places, and then I take off the first element from my set. So of all the places that I can go, I've removed the place where I am, and then I call poll first, which is a tree set method that takes the first thing alphabetically, well, not alphabetically, but in the natural ordering of places, removes the first one from my set. I set a local variable place to go to it, and as long as it's not null, then I tell the simulator, set my drone manifest to that particular location, great, and then route my drone to that particular location. So both of those things, actually I can get rid of the get name now because it works on places. I'm going to change this in the code for you. All right, and so that's my whole strategy. So if we then go and we run our simulator, let me make it a little smaller so that we can see the result of what's happening. All right, so down here, all the red is startup information from JMonkey Engine. All right, give it a second. Great. All right, so in that phase, what we can see here is we can see all the different life cycle phases present. So if we go back up to the start of transit here, you can see that the simulator's starting. I got a drone idling command, and so that must have been followed immediately by my method being called. I got an embarking start command, and here's what happened. There was no one where I was, so nothing happened. Embarking ended, then ascending started, then ascending ended, then transit started, and then you can see all of the status of transit as the charge goes down and I make progress. And then the transit ended, the descending ended, descended start, descended ended, people disembarked, there was no one to disembark, disembarked ended, I started recharging, I charged up, recharging was done, and then my drone idled. And at that point is when my code was called. And then, because I gave it a destination, we went back to the embarking start again, did that loop in the life cycle diagram. And then I stopped it. All right, so if we come back here to my drone controller, and we say, well, where were all those calls coming from? If you go to my drone controller skeleton, you can see that these are all the different life cycle methods that could be called. For example, this is where that message saying the simulator starting was coming from. And here's the one where the simulator ended. And here are all the different output methods that you just saw being output for each one of those life cycle methods. My parent class was being called because I didn't implement them in my drone controller. If, for example, I had wanted to do something different, like, for example, do something different while I'm transiting, I could take that method, I could go to my drone controller, I could implement it, and then I can override the behavior. So if I can just do like and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to output anything. But now I'm overriding it. So when the simulator calls my class, I don't call my this drone transiting gets run instead. So now if we run it, load it up. There we go. And now we're transiting now. You can see, stop it, you can see hello world gets printed instead, because now my drone transiting is overriding the skeleton controller, just like drone idling is overriding the skeleton controller. So go ahead and delete that, because I put all those messages in the drone controller so you could see what's going on. Okay, good. So the last thing that I want to do is I want to finish out that instruction document with you. So let's do that in the last video.